Hi folks, welcome to my channel. My name is Felicia. For those who are new and for those who are not new, welcome back to my cringe show. So today I have another story with my, I don't know, brassy ass blonde head. I'm gonna tell you another messed up story from my messed up life, because that's all I have. You got one life, we need to cherish it, doesn't matter how fucked up it is. I'll just dig in with the makeup and start telling my story, okay? Today's topic is gonna be about love, l'amour, my first love and everything, if you can call it like that. It's more like in quotes, my first love, or my first love with a question mark at the end, because that story is about to get messed up and dark and all sorts of shit, but not the way it's about. It's more about being in love than actual love, because there is no love at all in the story. 100%, maybe just from my side. Romantic poetic love, maybe bullshit, a lot of it. So we'll dig in and start. We'll start from the beginning, the prologue of the story. So, I'm 14, I still live in my old neighborhood. My grandmother died, she used to live with us. I used to live with her in the same room as well. And apart from that, I was going out with a guy, like he was 1 year older than me. I was like 14 going on 15, looking a bit older than my age, to be honest. What was else apart from that? Yeah, I did. That guy, I think he wanted something, you know, physical and more. Come on, Jesus Christ, I was 14. My grandmother died when I was like with that guy. Like, I kind of liked him, but he was an asshole actually, because there was another guy that liked me that actually asked to be his girlfriend, but I didn't want it to be his girlfriend, and he asked permission from my brother. My brother got really pissed for that. And then when I was going out with the guy that I was telling you from the beginning, like, the other guy was Stitch, this guy was, let's call him Ian. This guy Ian, I was with him, but Stitch, like, he really liked me. He would always hang around, and he would know my boyfriend and everything. But it was like a confusing, weird story, a weird teenage story of some sort of a love triangle, though it wasn't a love triangle because I didn't love any of them. Ian was an asshole. Actually, when my grandmother died, she used to live with us, so I was like very sad. And he would like want to make out, and I'm like, I don't feel in the mood. And he said, oh, so what? If people die, you're not in the mood to make out? So what if your grandma dies? Like, fucking hell, you're an asshole. I didn't really realize at the moment. It's like, what the fuck? You know, when you're a kid, you don't realize to call out people for bullshit like that. And I bet if I would have told him that he did that to me today, he would like regret it. If he has, you know, evolved in his mind. Hey, he was only 15, I don't blame him. You know, we were dating and blah blah blah. One day we went out of town and he wanted to stay longer, and he says like, do you wanna, just like, you can go home, I'm gonna stay longer, hey, and Stitch like was hanging out with us, the guy that liked me, and yeah, he like said, it's like, can you walk her home for me? Because he was too busy staying in town. He couldn't walk me home, and I was so pissed, but I didn't know. I don't know why I didn't tell him anything. It's like, fuck's sake. I just allowed him to treat me like dirt, like that. What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, seriously. Why? Bitch, why? And this little bitch, like, said, oh, I'm that angry with him, so I'm gonna make out with Stitch. And then when I did that the next day, he dumped me. And I was like, what the fuck? So I was really sad about it. But he apparently, he possibly was looking for a reason to break up with me, because, I don't know, he liked some other girl. For fuck's sake. What the actual fuck? But why did I tell you that story? Like, he was an asshole, but that was not the point, because afterwards, after I broke up with him, I went to camp, and I was kind of a little bit, you know, dramatic about breaking up and shit, and being sad about it. But then I went to summer camp right after. I called him like one day to just talk to him, because I don't know, I just felt like it. Apart from that, I was like, dude, let's break the ends by just going. Because I think I called him like on the first day, and then I fucking forgot about him. Why? Because my best friend, Tanya, my childhood friend, which I used to catch a ride from when I was staying late and shit like that. Like, that was like after the story and everything, but whatever. So she was telling me like about her new classmate, let's call him Dennis, so that he's like so cute, so funny, so handsome, blah blah blah, and what, such a bad boy. I don't know if she ever liked him or not, but I never thought about those things. It's just things like, I don't know how life works when you're that age, so whatever. But she told me about him, and I was like, I was kind of really intrigued to meet him. So I actually went to camp. So when I went to camp, I was like, where is that guy? I really want to meet that guy. And one of the things that happened is that I met that guy, and I completely forgot about Ian. I met Dennis. And I was like, holy fuck, Dennis. And apparently there was another guy, Nick. I met two guys. I met Nick and I met Dennis. Nick was like chill and blah blah blah. Dennis, he was like for teenage girls. I don't know. I don't even know if it's for teenage girls. He had, you know, that charisma of like the being hot, being cool, blah blah blah, knowing a lot of shit. He played instruments, he was musical, knew his way around, he didn't give a shit. Though he was missing a piece of his front tooth. Apparently he had some insecurities, but I never questioned them because I never saw them. He was flawless in my eyes, and in my opinion. It's just the way I saw him and the way it was happening. So we met. I liked him, like so fucking much liked him. He would tease me, blah blah blah. Then I don't know which day it was, but like when we went like to the, you know, we had like the nighttime disco, like that was like after dinner, and then everyone went out, and it was like everyone danced or hanged around or just, you know, spent time, and you could feel like a grown-up at a club with no parents and shit like that. But I was 14 going on 15. It was like, for me, being alone, you know, but and there's a guy and shit like that. I wasn't thinking anything in particular, but I really liked him, and then I danced next to him, or kind of with him that evening, and we kissed all night, and we made out, and we touched each other and shit like that. And then he walked me to the place that I was staying at the camp, like on the whole summer camp territory. And the second day he ignored me. Yeah, I don't know, he found some other girl, fuck knows what, because on the next evening I didn't see him for the whole day because he was on another team. And then when this happened, and then in the evening I saw him with another girl, with a blonde girl, me being brunette all the time, shit like that. And he was like more into, like, I was the kind of you know, goth kid, rocker, like shit like that. You know, I was wearing black. I had black hair. I didn't give a shit. I didn't straighten my hair, so my hair would be like frizzy and puffy, and you know, I wouldn't look like extra polished or anything like that. Even now, I don't really like looking extra polished. Though I can, but I don't like it. It's not me. It's not fucking me. I saw him, then I fucking cried for the next whole day. I did like a painting contest. I won the painting contest. I painted a rose, and then we did some acts and shit like that. And I don't know, I think I encountered him once. We kind of said something to each other, and I said, hey, I want to the painting contest. And he was like, oh. And then we didn't saw each other and didn't speak. And then I went home with a broken heart. With a fucking broken heart. And it sucked so much. But the thing was that he was my friend's classmate. And my friend was interested in hanging out with the guys as well, because there was another guy, Nick, there was another guy, Dennis, and Dennis would have like, it wasn't really a job because he was 14 himself, but he like helped out some dude. I don't know, in our parks you can like sometimes have a ride on a quadricycle, and you would pay like, you know, like £2 or £3, and you can like do a circle on the quadricycle. Especially it was like for kids or shit like that, and he would like sit there with the dude's sons, because they were friends, so he would hang out there and he would like get a little bit of, you know, cash for sitting there all day. So I was going there. We would go and see him there, and I would go there just to sit with him. And this is kind of detrimental, because I met before like some friends from from Tanya's school, and they didn't like me. I don't know why they didn't like me, because I don't know, she told me so much about them that when I met them I said, hi, she told me a lot, I heard so much about you, yeah, I know who you are. And they kind of like who the fuck are you or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if I did something wrong because I said that, because it was true, it was what I felt, and I don't know why they didn't like it. But from the other side, I don't know what insecurities they had, because were they from more less unfortunate families? Probably. Like, at least, well, apart from one girl, most of them were, and that girl didn't really show. She was kind of neutral about it. She wouldn't show that she like doesn't like me or anything. She never told me anything wrong. But the other people, like, they just didn't like me, and that's it. But sometimes I'll hang out with them because Tanya liked to hang out with them, and that guy Dennis was hanging out with them as well. And they would like think that I'm a stupid bitch and a whore and some spoiled brat, because they were less fortunate than me. And oh, and that Dennis guy, he would always, I would fucking give him part of my pocket money if he would ask me, so he could go and buy a cigarette or whatever. I had another childhood friend that would do that to me, and when I told my brother, and like I told him once like some shit about his friend, and he went to my brother and complained about it, and then I told my brother, because I didn't want it to give him my pocket money for him to buy cigarettes, and my brother looked at me and was like, you don't have to, it's like he's a fucker. And but that was about the friend, that was about a friend from my neighborhood, but he was doing the same shit, and I was fucking blindly in love with him, and I gave him part of my pocket money. Like, whenever I'd meet him, I'd always sit around him, but he wouldn't date me. Like, yeah, he asked me out, we went out for one date, We stayed around. I think I started smoking that year because after I turned 15. We went out for one date. I remember it was, oh my god, maybe for you, like for me, it was so fucking romantic. It was October. Yeah, that was exactly how many years ago? Let's say that was exactly 12 years ago. Yeah, now I'm feeling this in October, and this is the time that actually happened. Don't remember the date, but it doesn't matter. I went to the park. It was misty, it was foggy, it was dark because it was like 6 o'clock or 7 or whatever. And then there were like these street lights that were like old style, you know, done in this, you know, old shape, and benches in the old shape. So we have wooden benches that would bend this way, you know, and have those nice shapes on them. I was there, I was waiting for him, and then suddenly I just had a feeling I needed to turn around, and he was there, and we kissed. We just sat on the bench, we talked about different shit. I sat on his lap, we made out, blah blah blah. And then he told me that he was going away. It was like the fall holiday. We have a holiday in fall. We used to have a holiday in fall, middle of October, for a week. And he said that he was going to his grandma for a week, so he was going outside of town. And then he called me once, but then he broke up with me. He didn't even meet me. He just told me like, hey, I'm not gonna be with you. The thing is that I met his friend, he was friends with his classmate, with Nick. I was friends with him. Tanya was friends with him. Nick liked me, and I kind of liked him too. He was an interesting guy. We actually had more in common with Nick than I had with that douchebag. But I don't know why. He didn't float my boat. He didn't attract me physically. Like, he wasn't ugly. He actually is a good looking guy now, but I don't know. There's something in my head that always clicks. You know, when I really, really like a guy, I need to like how he smells. I need to like his legs. There are some physical features that I need to have in that man in order for me to actually give myself all to him. And it's not about like guys with 6 packs or shit like that, but it's something about the smell. It's something, it plays a very big thing for me. And it's not about the deodorant, it's about the smell of the body. It gives me the vibe, you know, you vibe with someone, and I didn't vibe with him physically at all. That's why I didn't know how to be with him, because I liked him. I had a lot more in common with him, and he liked me, and we started, and like we kind of went on and off with that guy as well. It was in between, you know. It was I was obsessed with Dennis, but then I was going on with him, and then we were going on and off with him, and oh my god, it was a mess. It was a fucking mess. They knew about it. They didn't care about each other. I didn't fuck either of them for the first 2 years at least of this mess. But it was a fucking love triangle. And in between all of that, when I was falling out, like with when I was going, like, because I started dating Nick, and then I broke up with him, and then I met up with with Dennis, and then he broke up with me, and then I got together with Nick again. And I would sit with Nick, and now we would hang out with all my friends. Even all my friends liked him. And there was a guy that was in love with me, but he was a bit younger, and I didn't look at him like at a guy, like at a male. potential at all because he looked so childish to me. He was actually a cool guy, but I don't know, it just was the way it was. And he actually looks kind of hot these days. So we were playing like Truth or Dare in the park with all my friends, and he asked me, he's like, why are you dating Nick? And I started laughing and I said, I don't know. And Nick got really upset because I said that, and he broke up with me because of that. I actually understand him why. There's a thing about guys that liked me but I didn't like them back that would tell me that I would feel so uncomfortable. Sometimes I would laugh, sometimes I would say, it's like, I don't need it, don't give me it. Like, why? The thing is that I didn't like him back, and that's the whole point. I didn't, because that guy that asked the question that was kind of in love with me, when he told me that he's in love with me, I laughed at his face. There were some other guys that asked me out or shit like that. I was kind of a bitch because I didn't know what to do, because I don't know. Was I self-centric? Probably. Was I a bitch? Definitely. Because I didn't know how to treat people that were in love with me. But I was miserable myself because I was in love with a guy that was treating me the same way that I treated those guys. Because I didn't know how to act, like, seriously. And after I broke up with Nick, which I kind of felt sad about it, but I wasn't torn by it at all. Because I think I even said some shit that, like, Dennis is better, because I would always go back and forth in between them. For me, yeah, Dennis was more attractive, like, maybe not facial features, but like, you know, or maybe even facial features, I don't know. I'm kind of confused at this point. Like, he, you know, the vibe, the smell, the hands, everything, like, I didn't vibe with him, but with Nick, but I vibed with Dennis, and that was the whole thing. That was why I thought Dennis was better, but as a person, Nick was awesome. Nick was cool. Nick was cute. Nick was artsy. He liked graffiti. He even, oh my god, he actually has one of his masterpieces in town center in my hometown. I don't know where is he now. I think he went to Russia because he was Russian speaker, and Dennis was the same. Dennis, I don't know, he like could speak both, but we were speaking Russian for some reason. I don't know why. Because my friend was going to Russian school, and he was going to Russian school. It's confusing. Don't ask me. That was the thing. That was the whole thing. That I vibed with Dennis. Nick wasn't my vibe. Nick was a better person. Dennis was a shitty person. I was going back and forth in between them. Nick broke up with me because I said that thing. I didn't know how to act with guys that liked me, but I didn't like them back. I kind of liked Nick, that's why I went out with him. Especially that he was friends with Dennis, but yeah, girls do this stupid shit by going out with the friends, or like with someone that hangs out with the guy that they actually like and shit like that. And now that I'm saying it out loud, I sound like a piece of shit, but what teenager isn't? So apart from that, oh my god, there was so many fucking issues with it. I had so many fucking issues about it. For some reason, you know, when I was like in my teenage years, I was always looking to have a boyfriend that I would really like. And a lot of girls had that boyfriend that they would really like, and they would hang out and they would spend all the time with them. Like, I wanted that, but I never had that as a teenager. Like, I never had that thing. And that was one of the things that I really wanted, and that was one of the things that I hoped I would get from Dennis. And then I was going all through around you know, back and forth with Dennis and Nick. And then when I broke up with Nick, I was going with other guys. But the thing is that, you know, I was like writing poetry and everything, and it was all dark, like, and brokenhearted and everything. And I would say it's like, even though I would be in the arms of another man, my heart would still be yours. Даже если я в руках у других мужчин, мое сердце всегда будет твоим. This is how it sounded in Russian. It was so fucking, you know, every goth kid knows what phase that is. I don't know, it was like that. It was specifically that way. But I remember I listened to some stuff that Graveyard Girl actually talked about recently, and I'm like, yeah, girl, I was there. I know what you're talking about. I feel you, girl. And that was the thing. That was the actual thing that. This whole story might sound like a mess, and I might be bad at telling stories, but this is what was actually happening in my life. My life was a mess. Everything was a fucking mess. I fucking hated everything and everyone and everything about the fact that I didn't have a boyfriend, and I was in love with that douchebag, and I was going out with other guys, and I don't even know I was going out, and I was making out with them, and I was going out with them. Nothing got too physical, to be honest, especially like when I was even, a lot of those guys that I was going out with, like, some of them really liked me, but I would sometimes ignore them, or I wouldn't go out with them. Or there was a really fucking gorgeous guy, like with plump lips, blonde hair, one of those, not like skater haircuts. It wasn't an emo one, it was like one of the, it wasn't an emo one or like a 2008 one, no, it was more like, he just had nice, long, like short shoulder length. He was cute, he had blue eyes, he had plump lips, he had, oh my god, that guy was gorgeous, and he really liked me, and I went out with him. And then when I was going to meet Dennis, he was sitting, like, he was riding his skateboard, and I just walked past him, and he got so upset with me, because he thought that I was his girlfriend. I'm such a fucking bitch that I did that to him. I don't even remember his name. Seriously. That's a weird thing, you know, to go out to meet a guy, to make out with him, to almost have whatever there, to almost, because, you know, I wasn't crossing the line. I was being like naughty, but not too naughty. It was shit, because he was like really handsome, and I upset him. At the time, I didn't even really felt bad for him. And then I went to a club. I went, like, not to a club, like, there was an offline for a group on the internet that I would go and hang out. We had, like, you know, all the world had MySpace, we had PeopleMD. I don't know if I even had a profile there, but most of the people that I hung out with were from PeopleMD. Yeah, actually then, at the same time, there was like Ruperes, like that was like hardcore, like about hardcore people, but I don't know why I didn't get there, but like the friends that I knew were hanging out with the people from PeopleMD. They were always booking a table at one of the local bars. And they were kids, because, I mean, you're allowed in the bar, they would just not sell you alcohol, and that's it. And it was just that way, and I would go and hang out there. So I went one evening with all my friends. There was another guy like that liked me. I was sitting with him. He was like, oh, I'm not talking to you, how could you do that to me, bitch? Which I totally understand. And I was like, okay, whatever, fine. And I started making out with another guy next to him. What a little bitch. What a, I don't know, slut? I don't know. I mean, I technically didn't fuck anyone, but yeah, I got him upset. My life was a fucking mess. But in the end, after all of that, I was always thinking, if Dennis would give me a chance, I would give up all this life, like all these men, just for him. But that never happened because he didn't give a shit about me. I tried getting together with Nick again, but he wouldn't be like so responsive or so interested. I made out with him a couple of times, but it was like he treated me like more physically afterwards. Like, I was a shallow bitch, which I don't deny. For him, I was a shallow bitch, and I don't accuse him of that. I don't blame him of that. I know why he feels like he felt like that, and I think I don't know if I broke his heart or not, or make him doubt his masculinity, but it was just, I didn't treat him really well, and I feel bad for that. About a situation that I kind of disappeared from home, not like disappeared from home, I didn't come back home. You know what I did? I went to Dennis. Yeah. So I kind of got him to go to Dennis's place to stay overnight, and I lied to my mom that I was staying at a friend's house, and I went to his place. And yeah, that was like a year after we met or shit like that. I wanted to have sex with him. Yeah, that was it. And the thing was that I wasn't a virgin. I wasn't telling anyone that I was a virgin because I took my own virginity with my own handy hands, and I was so embarrassed by it. I don't know, the mentality of the society that I grew up with made me feel shameful about masturbating. And I'm like, holy fuck. And I was afraid to ever say that, so physically, I wasn't a virgin. Mentally, holy fuck, I was all there was. You would never find anyone more virgin than that, and so naive, but I was acting so cool that like, I wasn't a virgin and shit like that. And like one of the things that I knew about Dennis that he wasn't either. That's one of the things that I wanted from him, because kind of I thought he knew what he was doing. And there's a lot of bullshit involved. It's a lot of bullshit. It's very confusing. I know, the story is so fucking confusing that it's fucking weird. So it's so fucking confusing and all over the place because there was so much going on. There was too much going on when I was 14 and 15. I don't even remember all the guys that I made out with, that I said that I was their girlfriend, and then the second day I would just fucking disappear. I would ghost them. The amount of time I ghosted guys, laughed at guys that wouldn't laugh with me. Oh my god, treated them like shit. Like, there were guys that were nice guys, but I didn't fucking give a shit. I was one of those bitches. And from one side, you know, all my teenage years I was thinking, oh, I am so unhappy and so torn down because I don't have like the boyfriend that loves me and everything. But on the other hand, I was treating guys like shit, but I was treated by one guy like shit, and the guy before that I dated before I met Dennis treated me like shit. And yeah, that was the whole thing. Like, I didn't know what was a nice guy, but on the other hand, it was that physical vibing with someone, like the smell, the attraction, and everything, because I couldn't at first, you know, even get properly aroused if like I didn't vibe. So I was telling you about the fact that like a year after I met Dennis, somehow I got into going to his place. And yeah, everyone kind of thought that I was a slut and was naming me a slut because they thought that because I was saying it myself, because I was not a virgin and I was afraid to say that I took my own virginity. So yeah, that was a weird thing that I was embarrassed by, which I wouldn't be now. And if I would have a daughter, I would be, don't ever be fucking embarrassed about masturbating or anything like that. And whoever would laugh at you, you can tell them that you don't know what you're missing out on. You don't know how much to pleasure yourself. And you know, man, I feel bad for you. I feel bad for you. Which is true. I feel bad for the people that think that that is a bad thing. Maybe this theme is not like appropriate, but it's like about how I felt when I was a teenager, about how fucking detrimental my life was and how shitty it was and how self-absorbed I was from one side, and from the other side I was thinking that I was this I was a fucking drama queen, and at the same time I'm like, I thought that I was this dramatic poet and shit like that. But at the same time, I was bullied in school, and my friends' didn't like me, and my Tanya's friends, like from school, didn't like me, and it's like everything was torn down. I felt like an outcast. I was a bitch to guys, and I was in love with this motherfucker that treated me like I'm a nobody, like a nobody. That's all that I can say. And yeah, I got that. I think it was the 9th of May. Yeah. Now you know the date that I lost my virginity. Because I don't remember when I did that to myself. Yeah, and his mom walked in on us. And I got there with one of his friends and one of my friends. And they were sleeping in the other room, and they made us girls sleep in one room, and that's pretty much what happened in the end. Yeah, my parents told me that I disappeared from home and I was only 15, and yeah, that's a terrible thing to do when you're 15. But a year after, I didn't get any better. I was fucking getting a ride home all the time. But I already told you the story about it. And talking with you about all of this, you know, after I did that with him, like, he was telling everyone everything. And I wasn't never denying. He would always say, oh, you know, like, I did that with Felicia. I did this with Felicia. And blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And because he was talking about it out loud and, like, so much detail about it, you know, what could appear in people's heads. Like, I don't know for what reason they thought that I was doing it with more guys than him, because he was the only guy that I went through all the way. Like, sometimes, yeah, like, before that, I said that I was going with other guys, but I wouldn't, like, yeah, I would make out and stuff like that, but I wouldn't go all the way in, or I wouldn't allow them to touch me like the way that I allowed him to touch me. And like, it wasn't like that. It was very confusing. It was very fucking confusing and upsetting, and fuck's sake. We did it. His mom walked in. I slept at his place. I went back home. There was blah 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 at home. Then I lived all my life. We didn't see each other for a while. Then we met again. And when I met with him again, fuck's sake. Oh yeah, that day I told him that the day after we did it. And I said, who fucking needs you? And he got so fucking upset with me. Like, I don't know, maybe he had his own personal issues that he was going through, and he was never saying to anyone, because he was always trying to act cool and be the cool guy. I'm the one that knows it all, that has no problems, that lives his life at fullest and doesn't give a shit. Torn. Like, I was so torn. Like, fuck's sake. Oh yeah, he was riding a BMX usually. I don't know, just a random fact, he was riding a BMX. He got really upset. And he got really upset with me because of that. I don't know, I never told him that I loved him. Like, I never ever told him that I loved him, though I was so desperately in love with him. Like fucking crazy in love with him, as I'm telling you about it. There was so many things going on in my head because of that. So yeah, I guess telling someone that no one needs him is hurtful, no matter what, but I thought he was less thought. He didn't really give a shit about what people told about him, but actually it wasn't that true, apparently. He gave a shit about what I said. I never told him that I love him. We didn't date it. He said he can't love me, and I said I don't want to wait for him to fall in love with me, which, to be honest, this sounds like complete ludicrous and bullshit, because that never happens, and life doesn't work like that. And yeah, it was complicated because of that, and fuck's sake, I was complicating my life with that. For some reason, I somehow believed that was somehow possible. I don't know. My parents' relationship is messed up, so maybe that's why I didn't really know how a normal relationship works, like, kind of. And it was, I don't know. He got really upset. Then we kind of made up. Then at that moment, one of the guys like said, like, I hate it when people that are as close as you two don't like fall out with each other. And I even said it on top, close? I'm not close to him. I'm not close to him. Who said that I'm close to him? And I think I got him even more upset. But I don't know. Because he never told me the way he feels like. I never told him the way I feel like. It was all so stupid. And I never knew. And he never told me anything. And he said he doesn't want to date me. But at the same time, he got really upset with what I said. But actually, he didn't really give a shit about a lot of people what said about him. But it touched him that I said it about him. So it still confused me. I didn't give a lot of attention at that time. I started giving attention to it after this thing like passed away. Past like years after I was thinking about it, like after the whole drama was over. But still, I'm still confused with it. I'm still fucking confused with it. It's like, why the fuck? What the fuck? So, fast forward. A lot of shit happened. I slept with a couple of guys that I shouldn't have, and there were drunk decisions at stupid parties, because I got to be 16 afterwards, in a couple of months after that, in August of that year. Then I met with Nick again. I wanted to date him again. We met up. I think that was his grandpa's car. He used to hang out there. It was like his hiding place. His grandpa's car. He would light a candle and he would draw there. Just think about it. Nick was actually the guy that I should have dated, and the guy that I should have cherished, and the guy that I should have been with. But it was so fucking messed up because of that. And but I didn't. And I kind of feel bad, and I kind of like have, this is one of my regrets, that I didn't cherish Nick, and that I didn't date him and didn't give him the respect and attention that he deserved. Nick was a great guy. I was the asshole, drowning in self-pity and shit. I went with my friend once to hang out in his grandpa's car. He had an old car, which he lit candles and he drew, and that was actually kind of cool. to think of that right now. That I didn't, somewhat, I didn't realize that at the time, because there aren't many people that actually do that. I went to hang out with him, then we kind of got together again, and yeah, me at 16, with all this love drama and shit. Maybe someone's life was less about drama, but not mine, not mine. I got back together with Nick, and then we hang out in his car, and I apologized for the thing that I said. He is worse than Dennis, and told him that I love him. I don't know if that was true or not, because I was a bit confused at the time. I've been with other guys. I've like had sex with other guys, so I don't know. I didn't really know what was going on in my head till this day. Even afterwards, I have things that I've done in my life in my 20s, and I don't know what was going on in my head. It's just hard to explain shit like that, or to find an explanation to shit like that, because fuck's sake, I was a messed up teenager, and I had no support from anyone, because no one actually talked to me about relationships, about sex. No one really knew what to tell me, because no one actually had anything to tell me. Because my brother, I think he got a girlfriend like the year that I met Dennis, but they had a messed up relationship because she cheated on him like many times. Like, they were in a committed relationship, apparently. She was cheating on him, which is really bad. Actually, she treated him kind of bad, and he gave a lot from him, and he was drinking as well, because I think he started drinking more, and he was getting a bit like talking shit, getting angry, and he kind of thought that was normal. I don't know. He didn't have a normal relationship, so I wasn't gonna get any advice from him. My parents didn't have a normal relationship, so I didn't know whom to ask, and no one else that I knew around me actually really had any kind of relationship that was worth, paying attention to and shit like that. And yes, there were girls my age that had boyfriends, but I just didn't, it didn't get involved with that. I told him that I love him, and we interacted with each other. I don't know. It wasn't my best experience, but I don't know why that happened. I don't know why we did it there. I just felt that I want to be open with my feelings. That's what I decided to myself. I'll be open and I'll speak my mind. So that's why I told him that I felt that way. And then after that happened, we didn't saw each other. Yeah. We called each other, but then we kind of, faded out, ghosted each other. I thought he would call me or something, but then he disappeared. I don't blame him. I don't know what was going on in his head. He actually had a kind of a messed up life himself, so I don't blame him at all for doing all of that. Because I was a bitch to him, and you get what you deserve. You reap what you sow, and that was the situation. So it is what it is. He was an awesome guy. If he's upset with me, or if he was upset with me, it's been more than 10 years since, so I think he might still remember me. He might not have the best impression of me, but he's a great guy, and I remember him. And Nick, if you would ever have an interest to watch this and see this, you know who I'm talking about when I'm saying Nick. You know who you are, Nick. I know who you are, Nick. And I know what I did. That's the drama with Nick. Well, yeah, then he disappeared for a time, and then he disappeared when we ghosted each other. Then I met Dennis again. They had like their... When you're 15, you're still in junior high in my country. So they were graduating junior high. I was a year older. Nick was my age. Dennis was a year younger than me. Whatever. I was already 16, going on 17. So I kind of met my friend when they were like taking their exams, and I met Dennis, and it was weird. It was refreshing but weird. So we met each other. We straight away like hugged and kissed and everything. And he told me that he loved me, and I told him that I love him. And then Nick was there as well, which ghosted me. And he said, and he heard me saying that I love Dennis. And he said, wait a minute, she told me that she loves me. But he didn't say that he loved me. He ghosted me. He didn't call me. He didn't say anything. I don't know what he was expecting me. Because the last time we spoke, I called him. And it was like a month after that. So, Nick, if you thought you had the right to say anything there, like, whatever. And then, like, Dennis came up to me. So you said that you love him. It's like, yeah, so. And he was like, oh, right, whatever. He didn't care. And I didn't care. And it was like, oh my god. It was a happy moment for me. It was a happy moment for that day. And we spent almost the whole afternoon together. Like, making out, sitting around, talking about stuff. Just feeling happy. He was trying to find out more, you know, intimate place and stuff. But I wasn't gonna do it in a public place. So I kind of said to him, no, I don't know what he expected from me. But like, it was cool. It was cool. We hang out. Then he wanted me to get my bus, and I went home. And we said that we'll meet later. That we'll meet like the other day, or we'll call and everything. Like, we'll stay in touch. Obviously, we'll stay in touch. But we never got back to each other. I heard from my friend that he was like saying that he's gonna break up. He said that he doesn't know what's gonna be about a relationship. It was kind of weird. So I wrote him an email. Yeah, we were writing emails. He didn't have Facebook. I don't think he had a cell phone at the time. So that's how I would find him. And sometimes he would tell me stuff as well over an email. And I wrote him an email about, I like what happened. I like that he said it. I like that I said it. I liked that day. I loved that day. But I think I outgrew it. I'm tired of this game. I'm tired of your bullshit. And I'm gonna move on, and I'm never gonna look back. And that was, I think, the last time I saw him, and the last time I heard from him, and I didn't care anymore. I had a broken heart, but I kind of realized the fact that I don't need him. I can find any other guy. He can treat me like shit. Because that year, like, before all that happened, I met some other guys. I slept with some other couple of guys. Not too many. One hand is enough. Like, less than one hand, believe me. And I didn't even love them. And like, when they gave me shit, I was like, go fuck yourself. I'm not gonna see you again. I don't love you. Yeah, I had sex with you, but I don't care. That's what made me realize is, like, I can find any other guy, and I can click with any other guy. Yeah, I still didn't click with Nick. It's just not my type. Yeah, there is the thing about not your type. Because, I don't know. I have this with my husband. It's like, I like his smell. I like his legs. They're like, I hate men with too skinny legs. Yeah, he doesn't have abs or anything like that, but he vibes with me, and that's an important part for me. Yeah, it's more like a physical thing, but it's not only. It's weird to explain. So this longest story finally is coming to its culmination. Yeah, it took me 3 years to realize that a guy is not worth it. 3 years. Yeah, I was going out with other guys, but I was always coming back my thought to him of being blindly crazy in love with a guy that didn't wanted me, didn't treat me well, didn't care about me. He cared about, I don't know, my boobs and having sex with me. And that was it. Yeah, it took me fucking 3 years. I don't know, it didn't really felt like a waste, but I still kind of lived on my life. I didn't think about regrets back then, and I don't really think about them right now, because like, hey, that was my teenage years. I was feeling bad that I didn't ever found a boyfriend in my teenage years that I could, like, you know, always hang out, have a boyfriend, and, like, some stability in life and shit like that. Like, I never had that when I was a teenager. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's always good to have that when you're like in your early teenage years, because maybe you feel a bit more safe. I don't know if I didn't have that because I had my brother always, but he got into a relationship which was kind of shitty. I don't know. It was weird. My teenage years were weird, were messed up. I was messed up. I was like that. You know, recently, I'm not stalking anyone. Recently, my friend Tanya, she sent me a photo of Dennis with his kid. He has a daughter, and I don't know if he's married or not, but yeah, it was the mother of his child or whatever. He's actually not really tall. He's still in good shape. I mean, he's 26, come on. Yeah, but he has a daughter, and that was a nice, you know, shout out from the past. I was always thinking if he knew that he was actually the first guy that I ever slept with, because I was saying that I was a virgin and physically I wasn't committed. And like once I got drunk and I started writing him a DM to tell him about it, but then I thought, why? I have my own life. He has his own life. I don't think you know, even though this is a conversation that I wanted to have with him, even though I never want him back or want anything to do with him, but I thought that he needed to know about that and about how I felt, and I don't know. I think he's still living his self-absorbed life. If he's happy, that's okay. He has a family. I'm happy for him. He has his own problems, and I don't give a shit. I have my life, and I love it. And not to point fingers, but I know that I live a better life than he does. And yes, that's empowering to know that you live better lives than the people that hurt you. And yeah, that empowers me to know that I'm in a better situation than he is. And he fucking has a kid. I hope he has enough money to support that child. Which, hey, the kid is not to be blamed by anything. She looks very sweet. But it doesn't matter. But that is like the messed up story about a guy that I first fell crazy in love with. So yeah, it's messed up. It's all over the place. So I hope no other teenager would ever go through the drama that I went through. Kids, be mindful. Don't let anyone treat you like shit. Don't get involved with these things. Have some self-respect. And anyways, live without regrets. I don't regret anything. This is what happened. I just wanted to say it. It's a weird story. It's a 3-year-old length story. And it's all over the place, as I said before. But I was all over the place. I had so many things that happened in those years. Apart from that being. And I just can't go into detail with everything. Because it would take me even longer. About the whole messed up shit that happened those years. But yeah. Love is not someone that treats you like dirt. Don't give your heart to anyone that does that. Don't give your heart to anyone that doesn't cherish you. And yeah, be mindful of the people that even though you can't give back what they feel for you, be nice to them. Don't laugh at them because you can feel yourself in their place. And now I realize. So on this note, yeah, Like if you like this story, subscribe if you're interested for more fucked up stories, and check out my Instagram if you're interested in the other stuff that I did in the background. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll make better choices in your life than I did in my teenage years. I don't regret it. It's my life. But you can do better. Bye.